I feel like I need to push this
Everybody, this
thing.
is your girl Chanel, the one that's out of the box. Yes, I'm out of the box. And today, y'all, today, once again, we got my friend. Y'all know which way. We got our friend, my friend, Doc K. Hey, talk to the people. Say hello. Greet the people.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope y'all are having a fabulous time. We are, because we sitting over here cutting up as usual. So I am glad to be here and to share with my sister and to bring y'all some encouragement today.
Yes. Yes. And listen, y'all, I'm bent over because if I sit up, you're going to see the light. So I'm bending over. Let me just take off the glasses because I'm not reading nothing. We just flow on She's Out the Box. We just flow, y'all. So I wanted to talk to you all about healing and healing correctly because sometimes we heal, but we heal incorrectly. And I feel this is time more than ever to talk about being in alignment, being able to say that hurts, being able to say I'm not good. So you may get all the instructions from your favorite author. Where you at? Doc,
Oh,
you
look, yeah,
want it
yeah.
anyway. Your favorite author, you may get it from your pastor, you may get it from your friend, you may get all the tools you need to walk in your healing. But if you don't use those tools properly, you may heal improperly. What are your thoughts about that, Doc?
I think that is so powerful because the first thing that comes to mind when you say that, a few weeks ago, I posted something about my trainer. And I was sharing how a person can give you all the tools, they can give you all the resources, they can tell you all the steps, they can do everything. But if you don't use them, you're going to remain the same. You're going to stay the same. We start accepting and living with stuff the way that it is, and we'll call it healed, but it's not healed. You just have accepted it.
And let me tell you about that because a few years back, I believe it was 2012, I broke my ankle. And one of the things the doc said when I broke my ankle, he said, you broke it in 3 places. We're going to have to put screws in it. We're going to have to really, fix this thing up. I'm buying a woman down there by my ankle. When he said it, though, he said, now, Chanel, if you break it again, we may can't save your foot because it's been where it's been broken at. When he said that, I was like, okay, doc. But secretly in the back of my mind, I was fear. I mean, fear just set in. What if you break it again? What if you fall? Oh my gosh, what would happen? How would you look? What would that cause you? What kind of limitations you will have? So in the back of my mind, that's what's going on for years. So as I went through the therapy, the rehab, as I was trying to learn how to re-walk again, in the back of my mind, I said, I'm a favor that leg because I don't want to lose my ankle. I do not want to lose my foot. I was thinking all the horrible things that can happen. And so in that, I got all of these tools to be able to walk, not only walk, run. I didn't use those tools because in the back of my mind, fear controlled my healing.
Mm.
Get that? Fear controlled my healing. Fear direct how I will be healed. Fear told me what not to do and what to do, what to be comfortable with, what not to be comfortable with. And fear welcomed me to or introduced me to limitations.
Mm,
I
that's good.
started getting I started getting comfortable with the limitations because doc, the biggest thing I wanted was to keep my foot. So if I had to limp, that's okay. I got my foot. If I couldn't run no more, that's okay. I got my foot. But my doctor and the rehab people say I will get full capacity of this leg, of this foot again. To
Mm.
this day, I don't have full capacity because I healed incorrectly. So now I'm stiff. I'm not only stiff, I'm still second guessing how much weight to put on there and all. So because I'm second guessing, and I've been walking since 2012, a new way, but an incorrect way, I'm causing my body to heal in a way where I don't sit up like I should. You know, it's things I lean so much on one side, building a cab on one leg and not on another. It's just dangerous when you heal in fear. It's dangerous when you heal incorrect, because there will be a result that is not full to the full capacity. It'll be a limited result. You know how you get limited, like you buy a car and it's used and you get a limited warranty. That's how it is when you don't heal properly. Go ahead, Doc.
That you don't unpack so much right there, because many of us do that. We don't heal correctly for whatever the reason. You like to say fear, sometimes limited resources, sometimes because of exposure, because of, circumstances that were planted at a young age. I think about the fact that, the issues that I've had in my life with trust and how they entered in, with my father and my mother divorcing. I never knew that until I experienced infidelity in my marriage. And so I didn't heal properly when my father left, because number one, I didn't know I needed to. But number two, the one thing I wanted to point out is when we don't heal properly, we overcompensate in other areas. That's why you have people that will turn to drugs, people turn to alcohol, they turn to promiscuous behavior. I turned to being a perfectionist, an overachiever. And so all my life, I've wanted to prove that I could do something, with my father not being there as a child, because I was overcompensating, because I didn't heal properly, because I wasn't aware of the root of the issue. And so when we don't take the time to call a spade and to identify what's going on and get to the root of it, that's how we heal improperly. Because we'll, say, well, oh, that's the way it's always been. Oh, that's the way my mama did it. My grandma did it. Nana did it that way. And so just because that's the way that you've been taught, that don't make it right. And so then we have to look at other areas, like you said, with your ankle. Now, because of the fear of I'm going to break it again and can't have it repaired, let me put all the weight on the other side. So now you start introducing other issues. You have alignment issues. And how many of you know when you out of alignment, what's going to happen?
Come on.
And that car pull right onto one side.
Yep.
Your alignment.
Yes.
And so it is very important, especially in our communities, when we talk about healing. Healing can mean you got to do, not can mean, it does mean that you have to do work. And that work may look different for you. We can't be afraid of counsel. We can't be afraid of therapy. I mean, look at the year that we've just come out of. How many people do you think are now healing improperly? We saw it manifest in marriages.
Wow.
How many people started saying, oh, because of Rona, I'm getting a divorce. You're not getting a divorce because of Rona.
Right.
You're getting a divorce because you already had issues that you didn't deal with, that you didn't heal from, that you didn't correct. And now because you have to sit in the house 23 out of 24 hours, you ready to go.
But what if it feels good? What I mean by that, I can be totally healed, but it's gonna cost me something. I'm gonna have to work for it. Or I can camouflage this thing and then camouflage it. It looks like what I want it to look like, but I'm not reaping all the benefits of it. I'll give you an example. I make my own wig sometimes. And making my own wig sometimes, if I'm in a hurry, I will so big, I'll do something, take shortcuts. In taking shortcuts, I'm limited on how I can wear the wig now. Not only am I limited on how I can wear the wig, how I need to pin it up. If it got combs, because I put combs in my wig, and if it got combs and but it's lopsided, now I got to get my bobby pins involved. It's extra work, but I don't realize it's extra work because I'm buying into I save time. I'm buying into it ain't that bad. I'm still, I'm still flat. But in all reality, it is bad because I'm not living up. It's not giving me its full potential. And I may have saved 20 minutes to be lopsided, adding pins, doing everything I need to do that I think I need to do when I could have did it right the first time. So when we go through healing properly, there's no, let me go back and fix that. It's fixed. I'm getting ready to go back through therapy for my ankle to learn how to walk the correct way. But why all these years I have to go back? Because I didn't do it right the first time. So in knowing opportunities you got to do it right, but it may cost you, it may hurt, it may frustrate you, but it's better to do it right now than to do it way up the road. I'm really feeling that, because even when we say I'm all right and I'm hurting all inside, I'm just piling the Mac on more. I'm just buying the more Louis Vuittons. I'm just buying my red bottoms. I'm just buying because I got to cover up the pain. And I'm saying I'm all right. I say I'm all right, but you start seeing it start oozing out. And when it oozes out, what happens, Doc? What happens when this thing oozes out? What happens when I snap? What happens when I'm here, but I'm not here? And I'm just, go ahead.
That's the thing though. That is so detrimental because number one, a lot of times when we do that, it's like a volcano. You're waiting to erupt. And so, a lot of times when you're doing that, it feels good because you've accepted it. You've accepted it for whatever the reason, and you've made it okay in your mind.
Wow.
And so when you accept it and you make it okay in your mind that this is it, for whatever the reason you justify it, you start living your life like it's okay. Like it's going to be this way for the rest of my life. It don't even matter. I don't need to do anything. But there will be years, like in my situation, it was years down the road. I didn't get the revelation of what was going on or of why I had issues trusting until I went through what I went through. And so then when I figured all that out, had infidelity in my marriage, separated. Now I had to go all the way back to the little 5-year-old girl and do the work. Where
it's like our bishops say, it started early.
It started early.
Yeah.
And if we don't deal with this, it's like you say, it's been what, almost 9 years?
Yeah.
And now here you are, got to go through therapy for something that happened 9 years ago so that you can get it right this time. But the thing about
Go ahead.
No, I would say the thing about it is you don't just get to start from you got to undo some stuff. We got to unlearn some stuff. And that takes time.
Yeah. And learning that, okay, I got to do it all over. I got to get it right. My thing is, how often was that in the back of my mind? You need to do it right. And then I put it off. And I start fooling myself that this is good right here. I'm good. And so I start fooling myself. And then you get what our bishop would call flesh buddies. And they come along and they may compare, girl, I used to, me, girl, yeah, that was me too. Instead of getting to a place where this can be resolved, this can be better. And if you only follow these steps, this will be better. But when you're in a hurry, when you're not sensitive to your time, when you're not sensitive to instructions and directions, you all over the place. Not only you all over the place, you're going to find out a reason which you can put off today for tomorrow. You're going to keep, you will find out your reason. And I'm gonna tell you, it's always a reason sitting on your table, somewhere that can agree with you. Don't do it today. Don't make that phone call. Don't start it today. Don't write the goal today. You know what? Don't write the goal because you got to do this. How you gonna do it? All that is gonna be right here in your ear. All that. So when it's in your ear, It's better to silence the noise and say, okay, I probably won't do it today. I tell you what, New Year's is around the corner. I do it then. Oh, after the pandemic, Katrina, I'm going to lose this weight. Then after the pandemic, oh, I got hours to work. So after that, I'm going to lose this weight. Katrina, after that, and so after that is going to be like a permanent statement in your mind, and a daily statement after this, after that, after this. So when we get caught up in, hey, delays, not only delays, reasons why I can't. I heard someone say, I don't have a plan B. Plan A got to work. And I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. But I do on certain circumstances, because if you don't have a plan B, you're going to make that A work. But if you have that B, and B doesn't cost you too much, you know where you're going. That's just like in school. At least I made that B. Then you get to a place, at least I got a C. Well, at least I got a D. I'm passing. I'm passing. That's the goal, to pass, not to be the best that you can be. The goal is to pass. So Chanel, the goal wasn't to use your foot to the best of its ability. It was to walk. So if I limp, it's okay. If I lean, it's okay. I'm walking. My goal was not to lose it. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to work on changing your mindset. My mindset is not to lose, but was my mindset ever to say, hey, I want to walk completely. I want to wear heels again. I want to run. That wasn't the goal. And Katrina, I believe the reason why it wasn't the goal, because a seed was planted by a doctor saying, if you do it again, it's a loss. So that seed kind of like paralyzed me. My goal was now is to just like Saving Private Ryan. Just get me to my destination. You can get me there with one arm, whatever, but get me there. And I believe it's a change of a mindset got to be for us to heal properly. You can't just heal properly because somebody gave you a pill. That pill is not going to make you heal. It can help you with comfortability, but what's going to make you heal, or what's going to cause you to heal, is, I want to say, the rehab of a thing, the learning of a thing, more than let me just get a quick fix. Give me a pill. What you think? Or give me some good rubbing lotion or something that just send me to get a massage right quick. But the pain is here tomorrow.
We got to stop with the temporary fixes. We just got to stop with it. I've shared this with you before, but it's just like, if you have, back in the day, when you get a cut or something like that, grandma go clean it out with some witch hazel peroxide, put some salve on it, and slap a Band-Aid on it. And then you think that thing is healing, and the next thing you know, you take that Band-Aid off and it's pus everywhere. Nasty. Yeah. And so you got to go back through the process all over again. They got to be cleaned out. They got to, put the peroxide back on there, put the salve back on. You should just don't put the Band-Aid on. Just let it get some air. And so it can heal properly. And so we have to get to the place where it's not always a quick fix, because a lot of it, we look at the work that we got to do, and it's like, I can't do it. We feel defeated before we ever start, number one. Number two, we don't have enough people talking about, the work. We don't have enough people sharing truthfully that, hey, I've been where you are, and this is what I did. You may have to do more. You may have to take a different route. It may take you longer than it took me, but it didn't just get beautiful all of a sudden. And we don't have enough people saying that. And so people are intimidated. Fear is there. And we have that inner me, which is our biggest enemy. And so, like you say, it's always going to be something telling you what you can't do. Don't worry about it. Do it. Like I say, after the pandemic. Okay, we don't know when the pandemic is going to end. This has been the greatest opportunity for us to get our stuff together and reset and think about, okay, what do I need to change in my life to where if this ever happens again, I'll be situated. If I get to a situation where I can't go out to the grocery store, or I can't go to a gym and work out, what do I need to change about my life today to prepare me for the future? So many of us live for the right now. Like you said, my focus right now is not to lose my ankle, not to lose my foot. But what about 5 years from now? What about when you've created a new issue where now you're not in alignment
Yeah.
because of the way you were walking to compensate?
Yeah.
And we just have to get to the place where we make ourselves number one on the list. Our healing has to be important for us. It can't be about somebody else. It can't be about, well, this is what I've always seen. This is what I've been exposed to. I don't know any better. You can only say that for so long.
Well,
You have to take responsibility.
well, I want to say, I want to ask you this question. Still on healing properly. What about relationships? And I'm not just talking about relationship with your spouse, relationship with your children, relationship with your friends, relationship with your pastors, relationship with your boss, you or your coworker, in relation, or your spouse. I mean your siblings. In relationships, one of my friends used to always say, Chanel, you're not combative enough. You won't address. And for me, I believe I didn't address issues because I didn't want to hear the noise. So in not hearing the noise, I will avoid communicate communication with a person, especially if it's a tough conversation, or a conversation that's a hard conversation to discuss. So, and don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, or don't want to go tit for tat, whatever you want to call it. And so I learned, just be quiet, cover, don't talk about it, and then it'll pass, and we'll start talking, we'll start laughing, and whoever you and your boss will start high-fiving because we made the quota. But deep inside, you have started a library of offenses, a library of them. I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna tuck that away because it hasn't been dealt with. So it was brushed over, but it haven't been dealt with. So what ends up happening, you have this library. And then the day that you realize, when what do people say, when the straw breaks the camel back, you going in your library and just talking about, and remember when, and how dare you, and you're doing all of that because I believe, let me speak for me, because I told you all when I started this, I'm going to tell you about me. I believe what it ended up doing is making my communication skills so jacked up with relationships. And it made me inside, I believe, sick, stomach ache, headache, just nervous, and just all uptight, because what should have came out stayed in, and it was suppressed. And I realized I did not know how to communicate in hard conversations. So I ended up, covering that up with people pleasing and putting me in the back, putting me in the back. Don't worry about my feelings. Don't worry about how I feel about my experience of life, or what can I bring to the table. I'm not able to bring nothing because I suppressed. And then sometimes when you suppress, you side-eye a person, or you upset, or you don't like that person. Secretly, you're becoming bitter. Secretly, you're becoming hateful about something that person has moved on, haven't even thought about it, didn't even know how it hurt you. So I'm now even learning now at 52 years old how to communicate healthier, how to communicate without like generational stuff I may have picked up along my lifetime, from family members, from friends, from TV shows, from songs. Because baby, let me tell y'all about songs. I love music, and I remember listening to songs that Nat Nicole had one, and I'm gonna tell you, I think I was in the 7th grade. I don't even know why I even thought this was the appropriate song for Chanel. I would stay up and listen to WTMP at night just to hear this song because they didn't play it all day long. They played it at night because I guess young folks, when I was young, supposed to be asleep. But Natalie Cole had this song, I'm Catching Hell. And I used to be up at night. I'm telling y'all, I'm catching hell. Well, living here alone. And I'm like, oh, and I'm just hitting all the notes. And let me tell y'all, I can't sing a lick, but I'm hitting all these notes. And I'm saying, that's my jam. And you know what? What it ended up doing, I ended up repeating it so much that I thought in my own personal relationship, when I did start dating, and I have a problem, I'm sitting up there, I'm catching hell. Well, living here alone, you know. And then I'm saying, you know, that piece of man was better than me. You know, all of that stuff, which y'all say screwed my mind. And to a point that I didn't unlearn it, I suppressed it. So you know, when it's like dirty clothes, you got dirty clothes, but you're gonna put on something clean with dirty, something dirty with it. It's everything dirty. So for me, I'm sitting up there like, wow, what would I do? You know, when I'm dating and when I got married, oh, I'm gonna do what Natalie Cole did. I'm gonna do what Betty Wright did. Do you want me to keep going? I'm gonna do what Bloodstone did. Bloodstone said, go on and cry, my son. I'm dating myself, but I'm telling you, these are things that taught me how to be in a relationship. So, you know, for me, I have to unlearn all of that stuff, because if I don't unlearn it, what's going to happen? I'm going to think I'm correct in what I'm doing. I'm going to think I'm correct when I'm communicating with somebody. And I'm up there, all I'm doing is reliving Natalie Cole and reliving the Gerald Levert and all of, you know, I'm calling out them names, y'all, but I'm reliving it because I don't know the correct way of communicating. What are your thoughts? I gave y'all so much, but I'm sorry. But that's my, y'all don't understand.
The biggest thing in any of this, and especially when you talk about relationships and period, whether on your job, husband, whatever, is being aware.
Yeah.
Many times we are not aware of how we function, what makes us tick. And if you know that I avoid confrontation, you have to be intentional.
Yeah.
And make sure that you are addressing issues when they come up. If you know that you're talking to a person that's an avoider, that will, you know, distracts, that if you say something to them, the sky is blue, they're gonna be like, well, what about the water? Anything to take it off the focus off of them. So I think we have to be better about being aware. Self-awareness, oh my God, it's amazing, because the thing about when you're self-aware, you know, I think about on my job, and my director, she knows she can't come to me sideways. You know, she just knows it because she knows who I am, because I'm very self-aware of where my faults are and I know my strengths. And so I'm one where if I have an issue, I am going to come to you because I need to have, I like constructive feedback. You're going to have to tell me more than you just didn't do it right. Okay, you're going to need to tell me more. Why didn't I do it right? So we have to learn how to have that two-way dialogue. And the only way you're going to get better at it is, number one, acknowledging that you have an issue and being aware with not only how you function and how you tick, but especially for those close relations. Now, you're not going to go and study everybody to have a conversation with them, but your husband, you know, you've been on your job for 10 years. You ought to know what your manager, your boss, your director, whatever is going to tolerate. You know how they communicate. You know, if you give them bullets and they have to keep coming back asking you for more information, at some point you should learn, let me give her everything so she don't have to keep coming back and ask me anything. So you have to study people. The one thing that I love doing, especially with my real good friends, is I love listening, period. But I'll listen and have a conversation with somebody, and they may say something like, I was talking to a media person today, and he shared that he'd been married with his wife for 17 years. I wrote that down. And somebody might be like, why are you writing that down? You consulting him to do media work for you. Why is it important about his marriage? Because if he ever tells me the date that they got married or anything like that, I'll send something on their anniversary. I love doing that for people, and they think like, how did she know that? You know, I can have a conversation with a friend and they'd be like, oh, well, I like so and so. I like a certain kind of ice cream. Well, we hanging out. Hey, let's go get this ice cream, or just pull up in the driveway and get the ice cream. You
Yes,
know?
yes,
So that kind of stuff. I
yes,
love doing that. And it's not planned, but it's because you pay attention. It's
yes.
because you are
Attention.
aware. All of us have things that we have learned, whether it was from our parents, our siblings, our bosses, co-workers, music, billboards. We are sponges. And so we learn in various forms. But when you start, it don't take long to see that what you're doing ain't working. And yes, I said ain't working. And so when it's not working, you have to take ownership and start saying, okay, how do I improve this? How do I get better at this? You're in a relationship, and like you say, you know, and I always say with women, and we roll the decks up in here, and we can have an argument about the way you cook the food, and I'm gonna remind you about the laundry when you didn't put the gas in the car, when you backed it in crooked, all of that stuff. I'm gonna remember it and I'm gonna recall it. But when you get to the place where you get tired of being tired,
Yeah.
you will do the work, because the thing about it is perfect love don't keep account of what's been done wrong to it. So that's an indicator that we have a love issue, we have a heart issue. And so when you talk about healing, so many times I want to say, well, Chanel got the problem. I'm good. I don't
Yeah.
have no problem.
Yeah.
Stop focusing on the other person. Hold that mirror. What Michael say? I'm talking about the man in the mirror.
Mirror. Yes.
Look at the person that's looking back at you and start asking yourself some questions. Start asking yourself and being truthful. You can lie to a lot of people, but don't lie to yourself.
I,
Tell the truth to yourself.
yes.
And you know what?
Yes.
Just say, hey, I got a problem. I don't know. Maybe I don't know at the time where it started or how it entered, but I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be bitter. I tell you all the time, so much of diagnoses is not even about a disease. It's because you got unforgiveness, bitterness, hatred. All of that stuff turns into ailments in our body. And research shows it. I'm just not talking at the top of my head. Research has shown that when you have these negative behaviors, that it shows up in areas in your body, high blood pressure, hypertension, all of this stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of it, unforgiveness and all of that stuff, it shows up in your body. And sometimes we've held stuff for a long time. A long time. You know, you have people that listen, honey, I was right there. I talked to a woman today and she was like, well, it's been a year since, she found out her husband cheated. I'm like, girl, it was like year 8 or something before I got to the place to where I could really say that I had started healing and I wasn't feeling negative emotions tied to when I would have a memory about something. Like we can't put time frames on our healing. It's a process. We got to understand that it's a process. And depending on where you are, we have to understand, are you grieving a relationship? Like, where are you? What is going on?
Yeah.
And know that Rome wasn't built in a day. Doesn't matter that it's 6 months or a year or 5 years or 10 years that you've had the issue. Allow yourself to heal.
But one thing, I'm so glad that you shared with all you shared, because I was going through a major hot flash just now, and I needed a break. I needed a break, and I had to share because I know people probably say, well, why is she so wet over there? But listen, I'm gonna tell you, Doc.
She's out of the box, y'all.
Yeah, I am, and I promise you, I was like, well, what do you do? Because I'm over here having a fit. But I gotta say this, because so many people have said this to me. When we have these little dialogues, we're good at sharing what was best. But someone asked me, how do I take these steps though? You're telling me good stuff, but how do I take these steps? And I'm gonna let Doc share. I'm gonna share some of the stuff that I do, and it doesn't mean you have to do this. I'm just giving you some things that I do. I do a lot of assessment of me. What that means. What does that really mean? I pay attention to, okay, I noticed I just got sad about something. I noticed I'm irritated when that person comes around, or when someone says this, or when someone tells me what I gotta do. I'm irritated by it. So why does that bother me? And like Doc said, it's not going to get done like in one day. Just the idea of me checking that and saying, why does that bother me? Now I have what Doc always say, what's the why? Now I have a question. I'm asking myself, why? Then I'm going to research that. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to notice other people when they do stuff. And if I'm connected, I may say, now, Katrina, I got the same issue. Why you think you do that? Because I'm trying to figure out why I'm doing this. And a lot of times it's going to take you back to your upbringing. A lot of times it's going to take you back to pain. I don't care what nobody says, because if something hurt you or caused some kind of feeling that was uncomfortable, you naturally will put guards up. And so you start guarding your heart in that area. You start guarding yourself in that area. So you'll find yourself, being defensive, brushing it off, not wanting to be around, not, just cutting yourself off from things, because that is a feeling I don't want to deal with. Pain and hurt. You hurted me too much. And we're not talking about husband and wife only. We're talking about across the board. You find your way of putting up these secure walls, because they did it one time, but they won't do it again. And then you come from probably a family that say, I don't do ladies. A family where the man doesn't have to do anything. So you end up getting with that person and be like, why they don't do nothing? That's where they come from. So when you're doing that assessment, you got to dig like that. You got to get that shovel and dig, because a lot of stuff is not surface issues. It's deeper. It's deeper.
99.9% is deeper.
Yeah, it's bigger than Nino Brown. So it's time to get you a shovel, and it's time to dig. Why is this happening? Why do I choose these same friends? I remember talking to one of my friends. Wait a minute now. I think my earring got all right. I remember talking to one of my friends. And used to tell her all the time. I say, every time you share something, it's juicy. Like, it seems like you eating a steak. And what we realize is she likes gossip. And so when she's telling the gossip, it's juicy. She Wendy Williams, So at that point, I said, because I'm not as in tune as you is to this situation, because I guess I didn't like the gossip she was bringing. But pay attention to that kind of stuff, and trust the people around you. If they're around you, you should be able to trust them. If you can't trust them, it's time to do some house cleaning, whatever they say, because at this point, somebody should be able to tell you, you know what, Chanel, you kind of messy in that part. You know what, Chanel, I see you getting shy in this area. Shy is not a good thing. Don't walk around and say, my baby's just so shy. No. Don't put that out there, because shy is not a positive behavior. So, you walk around, people, you got to have friends or someone connected to you to say, hey, I think that wasn't a good decision you made, or your tone was kind of off, or that the verbiage just was eerie. So when you got that can help you with healing and communication, because you got someone that will hold you accountable on how you communicate, how healthy you communicate, because healing is not always just, I hurt my leg. It can be your communication so jacked up that needs to heal and be corrected, and so you won't run everybody away, and you won't limit your opportunities because of what comes out of your mouth. Doc, that Okay, you coming back, Doc?
That's
Doctor, you coming in? Listen, I'm finna get off
hey with
subject.
you.
No, I'm gonna get on subject because I'm digging the earrings. I'm really digging your earrings, and I'm sitting up there like I don't know why they wasn't sold into my life. And I
You know what?
think
I
your
can't with you. I got
antennas,
these from Selena, girl.
yeah.
What
And
you
look, I
got?
think your antennas is not working because they should have been my earrings.
But when I was gonna put them on today, I said these go with her thing. I said let me go on and put them on so I can
That's
be her
it. And
cover.
listen, and let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you in advance. I know Cynthia Winfield gonna say, did these girls just change that conversation in the middle? I did. I'm gonna tell y'all why I changed it. Because sometimes we got to chew. And when we chew, you get something, you got to chew. When you do, when I used to hate commercial, but now I'm thankful for them. I'm gonna tell you why I'm thankful. I get to go to the bathroom because you be waiting on that. Come on, let me go. I get to go get me some more water. I get to go get another cookie if I want it. I get to, so those breaks are needed. So we're taking a station. We taking a break. And so in this break, I'm talking about these earrings. And I'm telling you, people probably, I promise you, Katrina, they're gonna say, how did they derail that conversation like that? But I
that's
tell you,
okay because we could derail it and we gonna bring it right on
we're
back
gonna bring
down.
it right back. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I sense somebody's chewing. And when they chewing, I want them to chew and I don't want them to miss. Even though you can go back, you can go back, you can go back.
Yeah.
But sometimes we gotta stop and let you chew that. Like TD Jakes taught me, you gotta know when to do a pregnant pause. And you wait and let that person eat that. And that's what we're doing. I want that to be a moment for you to think about that, because I'm telling you, Katrina, I feel like there are people who are dealing with not healthy conversations. And when we're saying heal correctly, I think some of us have not healed correctly in communication. Because I would be the
Communication
one,
is big,
yeah,
honey.
I would be the one to say, you know what? I see where Katrina was going with that. And let me tell you, my season is up with Katrina. So when I see her, I ain't talking. So that's not healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But are you not honoring who I really am, Katrina? So if Katrina call, I'm gonna forward that call, because now my communication, because communication ain't always talking. Now my communication has got jacked up because my feelings is hurt. I want to address my feelings being hurt. I don't feel safe with my emotions being given out to anybody, because you may step on my emotions like my third grade teacher did. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm not healed in my emotions, but I'm thinking I did something big and it protect me. I ain't talking to her no more. And so I'm thinking I'm protecting me. I'm not protecting me. I'm not operating in good healthy communication. Even if I can't say something to Katrina now, I need to work on how I'm going to address that, because I don't want Katrina to get to the place that she thinks it's okay to do that and say those things to me, or I think it's okay to do that and say those things to Katrina. So we're back from the commercial if you haven't picked that up. So at this point, I'm saying I believe we are shifting to healthy communication. Because if you don't have that healthy communication, because I know I'm talking to somebody, it's dangerous. And I believe we are allowed, I'm shifting this thing, is because you are on your way to something great, whoever I'm talking to, but your communication and the way you communicate can hinder or stop the success. And the reason why you don't want that to stop, because this is your time. This is your turn. You need to walk it out. You need to go forth and whatever you need, what you're supposed to do, whatever your destiny consists of. But I hear it's more of your communication is unhealthy. So I just wanted to take our little break, our bathroom break we just took. So you should have been able to go to bathroom break. And now I wanted to come back before we get off, because none of these are skits. When I do She's Out of the Box, nothing, the guests or myself, we don't skit. I come up with a topic or they come up with a topic and we run with it. So in running with it, I'm now I have to be sensitive. My guests going, we both have to be sensitive. Do we need to take this detour? Do we need to go down this street? Do we need to just continue, or do we need to shut it down? And at this point, I'm sensing we need to talk about unhealthy communication, or from a person who feels that they are healed in that area, but they're not healed correctly. So now they learn, I ain't gonna cuss you out, but I'm gonna stop talking to you. That's not healed.
It's not, yeah.
And so that's the thing we need to know. Okay, I ain't the girl I used to be. I ain't gonna bust you up inside your head. But what I am gonna do is give you side eye. That's communication. Or laugh when just being vindictive. And it's because your communication and the way you thought you healed wasn't healing at all. It was replaced one bad habit with another. It was avoiding. I got my legs up too, because that's the kryptonite that came from me for many years. Avoid it, because if you avoid it, it'll go away. Lies. Go ahead, Katrina.
It's the truth, honey. Listen, you have said so much. And so when you talk about unhealthy communications, I'm reminded of a couple things. Because to your point, people do feel like they're healed in communication. So you got people that feel like they are great communicators. And it's like, no, you are not. Because the truth of the matter is that 70% of communication is nonverbal. And so when you say, okay, I ain't cuss you out this time, but I'm not going to speak to you, you are still not communicating correctly. So I have this course that I teach, and it's called Communication Tool or Trauma. So is your communication a tool? Is it creating? Is it building? Or are you traumatizing people with your communication? Are you tearing people down? Like, how are you using it? Are you aware of what healthy communication look like? I've shared before, at the beginning of my relationship, I didn't know what healthy communication was like. Healthy communication was yelling. It was cursing. It was fussing. It was, I ain't, like you say, avoiding. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to fight with you today. I'm not going to fuss with you. I'm just going to go ahead on. And then it's going to come out later. It's not healthy. Yeah. And so when you were talking about, assessing, we have to do that with communication. We have to do self-reflection. We have to ask ourselves, why do I let this person take me there? Why do I go into this deep, dark hole when somebody start yelling at me? Why do I shut down when people raise their voice? That's me. Don't yell at me if you want me to listen to you, because immediately something in my mind just knows what you're not going to do is yell. And so we have to ask ourselves, why? Why do we have these challenges? And why do I not want to deal with it? Why do I not want to acknowledge that you got an issue? It's not the other person. Why am I avoiding the conversation with you? Why do I feel I have to suppress it? Why do I not like confrontation? What does it signal? And so I think it's very important. Like you say, communication is critical. And in this season, we're going to a new level. We're going to a new dimension. If you can't communicate properly, you're going to get left. You got to be able to communicate, and not just communicate from a perspective of relationship, but you got to be able to communicate your emotions. Like you said, you got to be in touch with your emotions. You got to be able to acknowledge and communicate where you are, where you need to go. Ask yourself those why questions. When you were talking about the why, it made me think about, with all the stuff that happened with the George Floyd stuff and all of that, they implemented a program at my job, and it's called mentorship for Black associates. And that thing make my skin cringe when I hear Black associates. And so I reached out to the VP, and I'm like, okay, I need to talk to you off the record. Like, why is it called Black associates? And I say, I don't know why it's bothering me so much. I say, what, why? And so we went down this whole, African American, and some people get offended when you say that. And so I had to ask myself, Katrina, why are you so offended when you hear the term Black? Why does it bother you? You are Black. So why does it bother you to see somebody say Black associate? And it still bothers me to a degree, but I can't say that it's somebody. It's not Chanel's fault because she said I'm making a mentorship for Black associates. That's who it's for. Is they're concentrating on Black people. Why does it bother you? So when you
That's so
talk about
good.
communication, you got to dig deeper. You got to dig to why. Why, like you say, why do I feel this way around you? Why, when you say something a certain way, why when you tell me I can't have something, I immediately want exactly what you told me I can't have. We
And
we gotta,
sometimes,
we gotta be real.
yeah, and sometimes we lose out on great opportunities, great relationships, because we never addressed our why. We never address um, what causes us to feel certain ways. I'm in a season in my life where I'm going to do it no matter if it scares me. I'm going to do it no matter if it haven't been done before, because the goal is to live my best life, to live my purpose and my destiny. And how can I live it without without um without going through the doors of the unknown, without going through the doors of the doors that rejected me before, without doing something and being okay with corrective criticism. I need it, because I need to live my best life, and I cannot live it thinking I know it all. I cannot live it thinking I'm going to win everybody over. I'm not going to do it. So if I know I'm not going to do it, I'm off the hook of trying. And that helps me to get out of that people pleasing place. There are things that would trigger you to your destiny too. Some things you can learn through a book. Some things you can learn through somebody speaking. Some things you can learn through a baby. Some things would trigger you that way. Some tragedy can push you somewhere. So all the tools that come your way, sometimes we want to pick and choose that tool. But sometimes if that tool falls in your lap, you may need to learn how to use it.